Guess what, Legacy Media? You've been caught again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. It is April 2nd, 2025, and these are the WTF reports. I'm your host, Dave vonKleist, and right off the bat, I want to thank you for your listenership and hopefully your financial support as well. Please visit our advertiser page at TheWTFReports.com and do business with a radio show that you actually enjoy and find informative, and hopefully you'll spread the word, tell everybody else about it. Okay, I'm kind of PO'd today. I'm going to wax a little philosophical before we get started. I'm going to tell you, first of all, I'm just a regular guy. I really am. I hang out with the blue-collar workers, you know. I don't hang out with all the upper echelon in my community. No, I'm just a regular guy. I put my pants on one leg at a time like everybody else. I don't have all kinds of certificates and diplomas and awards and all that kind of stuff. I went through the school of hard knocks, experience. As a matter of fact, there was a saying that I read many years ago on the back of a Salada tea bag, and it stuck with me for many, many years, decades in fact. And it said, experience is the best teacher, because first she gives the test, then she gives the lesson. Think about that. So you don't have to be a certified, registered, and licensed pyrotechnic expert to have a valid claim of fire. All you have to do is have functioning gray matter strategically placed between your ears, and hopefully you utilize that gray matter, utilizing common sense and cognitive thought. It's not hard to figure this stuff out. And for the life of me, I cannot figure out why is it that so many people out there can't seem to put that together. I just don't get it. There's a lot of folks out there that have relegated any responsibility of thought to the legacy media, to the mainstream media. They don't think for themselves. But then again, I'm not surprised, because the Department of Education, through its unlimited wisdom, has taught the kids, these several generations, not to think on their own. You are supposed to memorize and then repeat back what you're given. Never, ever question authority. And it's funny, because the left, the liberals, I'm talking like decades ago, and I was a proud liberal Democrat for many years, because we stood up against authority. We had bumper stickers that said, question authority. And now, if you question authority, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're an Islamophobe, you're this, you're that, you're a skinhead, you're that. What happened to you guys on the left? What happened to you? Have you lost your minds? Well, actually, maybe you didn't lose it. You just turned it over to the authority that you were ranting against for all those years. And now you're doing exactly the opposite of the people who you revere. And again, I remind you, Martin Luther King, in his I Have a Dream speech, he said that I can't wait. I wait for the day when my daughter can. What does he say? He said she will be judged by the content of her character and not the color of her skin. And now the Democrat liberals out there are pushing DEI, which is exactly the opposite. Not only is it racist, but it's sexist as well. And God forbid that I should draw that to the attention of a liberal. Because, I'm a hater, I'm a this, I'm a that. You folks have got to get your brains tuned up or something. My gosh. Look at your track record. Seriously, look at your track record. And by the way, I know I'm ranting against the liberals. You conservatives, you hold on for a minute, because I got some words for you too. You liberals out there, you have been swallowing the BS from the legacy media. You have been guzzling from the fire hose of blue Kool-Aid. Remember the Biden laptop story when that came out? And the media told you it was all Russian disinformation, and you bought it? You were wrong. And then the legacy media told you about Russia collusion. Yeah, Trump was involved in Russia. Guess what? That turned out to be a lie. You ate it up. You were wrong. Remember all this stuff about the pandemic? The pokey thing that you were supposed to get. You couldn't get that quick enough. And now you find out you were wrong. Remember the issue of accusing Donald Trump of quid quo pro? And then you heard Joe Biden saying, son of a bitch. You remember that? You were wrong. Remember they told you about the mask. You have to wear a mask. Well, guess what? You were wrong about that too. And then there was a 6 feet distancing. You were wrong about that. And then they put this, I couldn't believe this one. Yeah, when you go into a restaurant, you got to wear your mask. Because as long as you're standing up, you got to wear that mask. But as soon as you sit down to have your meal, you could take your mask off as if the virus isn't going to get you there. You were wrong about that. Remember when you isolated, you stayed home, you couldn't visit grandma, you couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't go to the movie theater, you couldn't go here, you couldn't go there. Isolation, you were wrong again. And then you supported open borders. Yeah, let them all in. Yeah, we need sanctuary cities. Open borders, you were wrong. Sanctuary cities, you were wrong. January 6th, quote unquote, insurrection. Nobody was ever charged or convicted of insurrection. Guess what? You were wrong again. And then remember when they were saying, oh, well, this virus, it was because of a bat, a wet market in a bat. It couldn't possibly be gain of function at the Wuhan laboratory. You were wrong again. You were wrong about defunding the police. You were wrong. And you're wrong again now about what's going on with Elon Musk. Let me remind you that you're saying, oh, we didn't vote for Elon Musk. We didn't vote for him. He's a Nazi. We got to burn his Teslas and his dealership. You say you didn't vote for him? Well, Elon Musk announced way back in September. Well, maybe it was August. I don't remember when it was, but he was right there with Trump on the campaign trail. And Trump was saying, yes, I'm going to work with Elon Musk. It was out there. It was on the table. And the American people voted for it. But you know what you didn't vote for? Nobody voted for Anthony Fauci. Nobody voted for Bill Gates. Nobody voted for Klaus Schwab or George Soros or the World Economic Forum or the WHO or the CDC. Nobody voted for any of that, but you stood right behind it. You were wrong. And you're wrong again now. Now, you conservatives, okay, I've ranted enough against you liberals, and you deserve to have your face smooshed into the doggy doo-doo. Now, you conservatives, why are you sitting on your butts? Why is it that it's only those extreme liberal groups who organize all these demonstrations, and they get out there en masse? Well, the argument could be made that many of them are being paid to do that. And yes, that is true. That's what motivates them. But you know what? What motivates folks like me is principles, morals, doing the right thing. And yes, most of us conservatives, we just want to go along to get along. We don't want to tell anybody else how to live their lives or what they should and shouldn't do. That's not in our nature. You live your life and I'll live my life. Just leave me alone and I'll leave you alone. Well, that time is done, folks. You conservatives, it's time to get up off of your big, fat butts and get involved. And you better do it soon. Because I'm tired of seeing, everybody loves to complain about all the crap that's going on in this world, but none of the conservatives actually want to do it. Well, I won't say none of them, but many of them are just waiting for somebody else to lead the pack. No, it's time to be a leader. It's time to get involved. And I got to tell you, this whole thing, there's a lot of stuff going on right now behind the scenes that a lot of people they're not paying attention to. But getting back to this issue, before I get into really berating you, I want to point out that the Doge report, I'm telling you, they're coming out with all kinds of money. And you liberals out there that are protesting Elon Musk, you're swallowing more horse hockey and blue Kool-Aid from the fire hydrant of the legacy media. Because the legacy media is telling you that Musk is going to destroy Social Security. He's going to take away your Medicare. He's going to take away Medicaid. And they're going to destroy the Department of Education, which means there's no more meals for the kids. There's no more Pell Grants. There's no more classes for the children with special needs. All of that is horse hockey. But going to this Doge report, there's a post here by Michael, and there's a woman here that's discussing about some of the stuff that was uncovered by Doge. Give a listen to this.
Doge report. A little more tea on the whole Social Security cards and the people over 120 years old receiving that Social Security. This gets good. So Elon Musk has found that the Department of Treasury attempted to delete an entire terabyte of information to keep them from being busted for all this financial fraud. However, Elon Musk, quote, said, "They don't understand technology and I can find it." And he did. So he found that over 2 million Social Security numbers were given out in 2024 alone.
I'm going to pause that right now. Are you liberals all upset about that? Are you? You shouldn't be.
Okay. He also found that almost 400,000 of them were sold on the black market to people so they could cash in on Social Security checks to illegal immigrants.
Oh, but Elon Musk is going to destroy Social Security, right? Get your head out of the sand.
That's fun. So you and I bust a hump at our jobs and we get 6.2% taken out of our checks every single month, whether we like it or not. And then it gets fraud and abuse and wasted and stolen right from underneath us. Okay, that's super fun. Also, he found that over 20 million people were reported to be over 120 years old. They were marked alive and well, receiving our money. Who were cashing those checks? Where were they going? They don't seem to know, but maybe he'll find it out. So that's a big problem because I don't know about you, but I'm tired of watching my money just disappear. It's becoming very difficult to file my taxes this year. I want to know how many of you filed an extension this year in hopes that with all of this, they will stop stealing our money blind and possibly get rid of the IRS. One more thing. You know, with a Social Security card, that is the gateway to all identification. You need that to get a driver's license. You need that to get a voter ID. You can see where this is going. Now, while they have not proven that there have been massive numbers of stolen Social Security numbers in voting, it has been shown that that has happened. Now, this is just cracking open, so it'd be interesting to see how many of those stolen Social Security cards and card holders registered to vote and then influenced any election, left, right, city, state, federal, don't care. That is not good. If you are not a citizen of the United States, you do not deserve a vote. End of discussion. Now I'm done with my Doge report. Have a great night. There
you go. And if you liberals are upset about that, then you need to have your head examined, because this is not about Elon Musk. It's about your benefits. It's about what you're supposed to get. And you're protesting that? You need your head examined. And that's not the Social Security cards. That's not the only issue. No. It's the USAID and the USIP, all the billions of dollars. Oh, did I say billions? Oh, maybe I could be corrected. Maybe this woman can correct me.
Just kidding. It wasn't $2.7 trillion that was mismanaged in the U.S. Treasury and Social Security. No, it was $4.7 trillion they've just uncovered. Double that. That is a staggering amount of money. That is literally such a huge part of our national debt. And our hard-earned tax dollars was being funneled right out of our pockets. I mean, Social Security benefits are not an entitlement. That's like a built-in retirement fund that we pay into. And these corrupt politicians were using it as a slush fund. Just kidding. It wasn't.
Okay. Yes, they were using it as a slush fund. And the hits just keep on coming. And yet, for some reason, The liberal Democrats are having a real problem with all of this stuff being exposed. I can't figure out why. It's just, I guess it's Trump derangement syndrome. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Over and over and over. And now you libtards have become a bunch of automatons. No matter what, he could offer the world a cure for cancer. And you'd say, orange man bad. Unbelievable. Well, in more current news, now this is going to be real important. You're going to want to take notes on this one. Now, yesterday, of course, Congress was adjourned because they had a proxy vote problem. And I'm going to let Mike Johnson explain it. Here's Mike Johnson basically explaining why they can't vote anymore this week.
A handful of Republicans joined with all the Democrats to take down a rule that's rarely done. It's very unfortunate in this case. 96% of House Republicans voted against proxy voting because they believe it's unconstitutional and they agree that it would open a Pandora's box. And so that's what we just saw. Let me just make this clear. That rule being brought down means that we can't have any further action on the floor this week. That means we will not be voting on the SAVE Act for election integrity. We will not be voting on the rogue judges who are attacking President Trump's agenda. We will not be taking down these terrible Biden policies with the CRA votes. All that was just wiped off the table. It's very unfortunate. We'll regroup and come back, and we'll have to do this again.
So they can't vote on the SAVE Act. They can't vote, to maintain election integrity. They can't vote on rogue judges. They all just said, okay, well, we can't do this, so we're just going to adjourn for the rest of the week, and we're just going to go home. Maybe this is a convenient time for you to go home. And do you know why? Well, because there was a report, and I'm going to post this. I'm going to let you hear it. And before I do this, I want to remind you that, again, thanks to the liberal Democrats and the open border issue, and again, I remind you that you didn't vote for the open borders, did you? As a matter of fact, you didn't even vote for Kamala Harris in the primaries. But anyway, the point is that we've had open borders ever since the Biden administration started. And that means 4 years of millions and millions and millions and millions of illegal aliens crossing into this country. And yes, some of them were families looking for a better life. Yes, we all know that. But we also know that we have immigration policies. If you want to become an American, you have to go through the necessary steps to become naturalized. Okay? You can't come across as an illegal alien. And then when they grab somebody to deport them, the liberals are saying, oh, there's no due process. You can't take them out of here. They're not getting due process. Well, they didn't take due process coming in either. I'm sorry, I sound angry today, but I am a bit angry because people are just not getting it. And that includes the conservatives out there. You've got to get involved. Just like Howard Beale said, first, you've got to get mad. Remember I played that clip the other day from the movie Network? You should go back and visit that, listen to the dialogue. Maybe we'll all learn something again. But I just want to remind you, with all these illegal aliens pouring across the border, the southern and the northern border, millions and millions of military-age males without a family, they came pouring into this country with the help of a lot of NGOs, non-governmental organizations set up all through Mexico and Central America to help these people make the trek through the Darien Gap up to the southern border. And then they were given instructions on where to cross, where it's easier to get into this country. And I have no doubt whatsoever that many of these military-age males from China, Yemen, Afghanistan, and God knows where else, I'm sure that they were given addresses to go to, cities to go to. Okay, you go to Denver, you go to Seattle, you go to Cincinnati, you go to Chicago, you go to Dallas, you go to New York, you go to Philadelphia, you go to L.A., and they got safe houses there, and they're being fed, and they're being housed and taken care of, and no doubt they're being briefed, they're being supplied, they're being given their missions, and they're just waiting for the time to go. You think that's just a conspiracy theory, Dave? You're thinking a conspiracy. Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, there's something that you need to know. Somebody, I forget who it was that posted this. Guy's got a podcast, and he was taking texts and stuff like that. Listen to what this gentleman had to say. And now keep in mind that Mike Johnson just basically shut down Congress for the rest of the week. Okay? And all these congresspersons are going to wherever they go to just chill for a little while. Maybe it's a timing thing. I'll put this out there. You people, put the puzzle pieces together. Listen to this.
So one more time for you guys, and this is only the ones that they know of. This does not mean that there is not potential groups in your city. It just means this is the ones that they have eyes on that they've released at this time. Washington, D.C., all throughout the state of New York, San Francisco, California, Santa Clara, California, Los Angeles, California, San Diego, California, Houston, Texas, Arlington, Texas, Dallas, Texas, Boca Raton, Florida, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, Orlando, Florida, Tampa, Florida, Boston, Massachusetts, Playfield, Illinois, Chicago, Illinois, Cleveland, Ohio, Laurel, Maryland, Potomac, Maryland, Harriton, Virginia, Springfield, Virginia, Raleigh, North Carolina, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Charlotte, North Carolina, Detroit, Michigan, Columbia, Missouri, Kansas City, Missouri, Denver, Colorado, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Tucson, Arizona, and Seattle, Washington. That is the current list that we have right now, you guys, and I can see the fives pouring in. And yes, Dallas, Texas is on the list. New York is on the list. Dallas, yes, I see people saying all of these things coming in as my city on the list. This is the list that we have so far. Now, again, as more information rolls out on this, I'll let you guys know, because this was just released. We're hearing about Florida, a lot in Florida, a lot in Texas, and a lot in California. And in New York, they didn't even put the cities. They just said all throughout New York. Just New York it's everywhere. And I think that this is fairly evident because also, too, as you guys will recall, the protests and the attacks in the streets that have already been going on, where have they been? Los Angeles, California, New Orleans. We saw this in Chicago. We saw this in there was another city. I can't remember. There was New York, L.A., Chicago, New Orleans, and we saw the bombers stopped in Houston. And now this list was released, and we see city after city in California, city after city in Florida, in Texas, and in New York. They didn't even bother with the list. They just simply said all throughout the state. So I think it's very important for us to know that this is going on. Let's see here. Ryan says that they planned the attack on Israel for 1 year. What if there is more to the plan? Ryan, I don't doubt it. I think that there are strategies underway. And I think that the FBI, and I'll put a 1 if you believe they know a whole lot more that's going on than they're releasing. The fact that they're releasing this, and the fact that the FBI and Congress came out on the same day with this information, that makes me feel like they know that it's almost like they've been. Let me know if you think this. Put a 1 if you agree. They've had things under wraps. They know a whole lot more than they're letting out.
They are. They've got a whole lot more than they're letting out. Now, this is a red alert, folks. The sirens are going off. They're blaring. Now, what the heck is coming? I don't know. But okay, so far, one puzzle piece. The proxy vote forced Mike Johnson to adjourn Congress for the rest of the week. They can't vote on the SAVE Act for election integrity. They can't vote on the rogue judges. They can't vote on any of this stuff, which was supposed to happen this week. Well, they can't do that. So they've all scurried on home to wherever they're going to go for the rest of the week. And now we start hearing about these alerts going on all over the country about some possible domestic attacks going on. Now, let's put another puzzle piece in there. Listen to this. This is going on right now. This was posted by a liberal with purple hair. And anyway, she's giving you a heads up. And you might want to write down the website because I have an action for you after. Listen to this.
April 5th, hundreds and thousands of people in America are going to rise up against Donald Trump. It will be the biggest day of national protest against Trump since he took office. And I'm talking about every single inch of the nation will be rising up. It's not organized by the Democrats or the Democratic establishment. This is people volunteering to put on protests in their area and just going to do it. It's people organized. All the information about April 5 and the movement is going to be on handsoff2025.com. You'll be able to find the closest protest near you on the website as well. Make sure you share and amplify this and get out in the street on April 5th. Join the hundreds and thousands of people across this nation that are going to stand up against Trump.
Okay, the website is handsoff2025.com. You want to visit that website, handsoff2025.com. There you can figure out what the closest location is where you're at, where they're going to be having these huge demonstrations all over the country. Now, if they show up and none of the conservatives do, they're going to have this feeling that they've won. Look at us. We're out here and there's nobody against us. Nobody can go against us. Well, I'm telling you that the conservatives out there need to have another side of the story. And look what's been happening around the country. All these people that are protesting Doge and Elon Musk, and they're showing up at the Tesla dealerships, and you got like 30 or 40 people out there, saying, Musk is a Nazi, blah, 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 blah. But on the other side of the street, you got several hundred people waving American flags and supporting Trump and Elon Musk. Well, that's what needs to happen all over this country. So if you're conservative and you want to get off of your big fat butt, I suggest you do so. This Saturday, visit handsoff2025.com and find out where they're going to be having these demonstrations in your area, and then get all of your conservative friends go out there and show some support. Not for them, but for Trump and for Elon Musk. Now, again, I can't understand why these people are protesting Elon Musk unless they're paid to do so. And we know that many of them are. This goes without saying. But the bottom line here is that all of the stuff that Elon Musk is uncovering, you just heard it, $4.2 trillion, WTF! And the Social Security, you know what they were saying, that with all the money that they found that was being siphoned out of the Social Security Department, Trump had signed in January I forget the Social Security something act, but from what I'm understanding, in the month of April, and oh, by the way, yeah, it's April. Today's April 2nd. They're saying Social Security recipients are going to find a bump in their benefits. They're going to get some extra money. Oh, hey, liberal Democrats, you have a problem with that? Apparently they do. But the bottom line here, folks, is that we've got to get going. We really, really do. And I'm going to take a musical interlude. Tom McDonald, when I first saw some of the stuff he was doing a couple of years ago, the guy looked really scary. Really scary. Tons of tattoos and stuff. But he's preaching patriotism. I said, wow, how's that happening? But check out his latest tune, because, the left, they are doing everything they can to censor, stifle, and cancel anybody with a conservative voice. Well, Tom McDonald made this video, and my gosh, he's got a lot of very high-profile conservative speakers. He has Laura Trump on there. He's got a lot of people that sat in. Check out this tune. Here it is.
They told me, be a man, boy, toughen up. Then they let women become men. They tricked me. They told me, speak your mind if you're brave enough. And I spoke up and I got canceled quickly. We were always too young and too nice, and now we're too old and too white. You're either too left or too right. Well, we're speaking our minds tonight. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel They said the color of your skin doesn't make you bad, but mine makes me racist, got it. We were always too weak and too afraid, and now we're too male and too straight. You're either too real or too fake. Well, we're speaking our minds today. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, and you burn the stars and the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause the internet ain't real life. You can take my job away for something I may have said online, but you can't control a man who won't comply. And you can call me every name that you might think will hurt my pride, but if you think you're stopping me, you're out your mind. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side. And you can't cancel all of us, and you burn the stars and the stripes. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause the internet ain't real life. 'Cause you can't cancel all of us, and you're more than welcome to try. But you can't cancel all of us, 'cause we're standing here side by side.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary. Yes, sirree, Bob, and that Get More Tank stuff really works. I've been using it now for 7-8 months, and my car runs great, and I'm getting about 17% more mileage out of a tank of gas. So that in itself pays for it in one tank of gas. So hey, folks, I wouldn't lie to you. I wouldn't be having this as an advertiser or a sponsor if I didn't think that this would work. So go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Check out our advertiser sponsor page and Get More Tank. And while you're there, you may want to check out the Wave Watch. Now, the Wave Watch is based on Tesla technology. Yes, frequencies. And the guy that thunk this stuff up, his name was Royal Raymond Rife. And you could do a search on Rife machines. And you'll find out that this is a technology that's been reborn in the past couple decades, because when Royal Raymond Rife was doing this back in the 20s and 30s, well, let's just say that they didn't like that, so they broke into his place and they stole all of his files and smashed his equipment, yada, yada, yada. You know how that goes. But the bottom line here is that his technology has been reborn, and like I said, if you do a search for Rife machines, you'll find out that frequencies can do good things for you. Now, I'm not here to tell you it's going to treat or cure anything, and this is for your entertainment and educational purposes only, but frequencies have a lot to do with your health, and they can be used to attack pathogens and bad bugaboos in your body, and those frequencies can also be used to help certain parts of your body thrive. I'm not saying it's going to be one way or the other. I don't want to get in any trouble, but you might want to check out the Wave Watch, because this thing is working really well. As a matter of fact, I loaned it to a friend of mine who had an eye infection, and within 24 hours, she said, my eyes cleared up. You know, it's working. I said, great. So anyway, she still has it. She's experimenting with it. But anyway, go to TheWTFReports.com, and do business with us. You won't be sorry. Okay, that said, it's coming up on 20 minutes before the top of the hour. I'm going to open up the phone lines. I want to hear from you. The number here is 215-867-8255. Again, that is 215-867-8255. Give me a call. Let me know what's on your mind. And in the meantime, I don't mean to be off the rails a bit today, but seeing what's coming and what's going on in this country, and the simple fact that there's too many good people doing nothing. They're more concerned with, the March Madness and the upcoming NBA championship playoffs and all that other stuff. We got to get our priorities straight, because we're about to lose our country. And we're going to lose our freedoms and our rights and everything that goes along with it. And if we allow the globalist agenda to go forward, we're going to lose our lives as well. Now, it's no secret anymore that the globalist plan, is to eliminate over 90% of the world population. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. Okay, if you think it's a conspiracy theory, raise your hand and slap yourself with it. It's been out there for a long, long time. And those of us who've been screaming from the rooftops, and yours truly, I've been out there for 30 years. 30 years. And people keep saying, you're a racist, you're a homophobe, you're an Islamophobe, you're a hater. Yeah, well, guess what? What goes around comes around.
Some people hate me 'cause of words that I sing. Some people hate me 'cause I'm doing my thing. Some people hate me 'cause of words that I say. That doesn't stop me, gonna say them anyway. Some people hate me 'cause of thoughts that I think. Some people hate me 'cause I don't like to drink. Some people hate me 'cause I won't live their lie. Some people hate and they don't even know why. Some people hate 'cause they just won't understand. Some people just ignore the laws of the land. Some people hate 'cause they don't know how to love. Some people don't acknowledge God up above. Some people hate and say there's folks hating them, and so they vilify, coerce, and condemn. Some people hate because it's all that they know. Don't wanna hear that ye shall reap what ye sow. Hate because there's money to make. Their faces on TV, the action news break. Just for a moment, if they'd open their eyes, they'd understand and they could see through the lies. They demonize, they ridicule and berate. They show contempt before they examinate. They say they're righteous, but they live like a sleaze. They lie and slander and they do it with ease. It's up to us to show the others the way. Set the example, we can do that today. Show all our countrymen we've nothing to hide. We've got the Constitution on our side. Next time you're told that there are people to hate, to know your foe you must investigate. You just might find out somewhere somebody lied. You could discover that you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, no kidding.
Sometimes we all have got to swallow our pride.
Most assuredly.
We've got the Constitution on our side.
Yeah, that's a tune called Generated, Fabricated, Perpetrated Hate. And yeah, truer words were never spoken. Anyway, it's about 15 minutes before the top of the hour. And again, I invite you to call. We got the phone system set up here about a week ago, so I'm trying it out. So I want you to give me a call, 215-867-8255. I'd love to hear from you. And I want to hear what your opinion is. Do you think that the conservatives are doing enough to stand their ground? Do you think that the liberals are being paid to protest? I think that there's a good amount of them that are. It's funny that they show up with these very professional printed signs, hundreds and hundreds of signs. Are they spending their own money doing that? I don't think so. I really don't. But you know, they are very heavily funded. There's no doubt about it. We know that George Soros has been paying a lot of people to do a lot of protests. We know that that's a fact. But you know, the conservatives, we don't have sugar daddies out there. Okay, if we're going to go out there, it's not because we're being paid to do it. If we're going to go out and demonstrate, we're doing it because we have principles, we have morals, and we're willing to stand for them. So, yeah, got to get out there, folks. You really do. Again, check out that website. Where is it here? Yeah, well, I was just looking at it here. Oh, yeah, handsoff2025.com. Find out where these demonstrations are going in your neck of the woods. And, hey, get yourself out there. Get your patriotic gear on. Get your flag, whatever it is, to show that you're going to be supportive of what's going on. Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm not 100% on board with Donald Trump. I'm having some serious problems with some of his policies. But I also see what we already got under the Biden-Harris administration. And this is why so many liberals have been jumping ship. You know, the walk away, folks, the walk away campaign, so many liberal Democrats are actually realizing that they were wrong. They were wrong to support the Democratic Party. They see what happened in the past 4 years, how inflation went up, how their rights are being trampled, how their communities are being put in serious danger because of all the illegal aliens, the Tren de Agua, and the MS-13 gangs. I mean, they're raping people, killing people, destroying property, taking over apartment complexes. And by the way, there was remember last year that they were talking about what was going on in Aurora, Colorado. You know, the Tren de Agua was taking over apartment complexes. And of course, the media says, no, that's not happening. Well, yes, it is happening. It's been happening. And there was a woman who testified before Congress. I'm scrolling through looking. Yeah, Mrs. Romero. Now, I have a clip here. It's about 6 minutes long, but I'm not going to play the whole thing. It would eat up the rest of the time here. But she explained to Congress exactly what she and her tenants went through. And it's sad. It is really sad. And the simple fact is that, people who are in denial about this, they just don't want to be proven wrong about letting all these illegal aliens in. Yeah, because ego and pride is so important to some of these leftards that they can't and will not admit, well, golly gosh, I was wrong. Some of them will do that. There's a lot of the gay community out there that's coming against the LGBTQ movement. Now, again, I'm not a homophobe. I grew up, in New York City. I spent a lot of years in Greenwich Village, where the Village people were. I spent my summers and eventually my last couple of years of high school in Provincetown, Massachusetts. It's sort of like the East Coast beach gay capital. And I have friends who are gay. I don't have a problem with people being gay. But in the gay community, there's a small faction of very militant people who want to push their agenda and their pronouns and all the other stuff on the children. And that's, no, stay away from the kids. Stay away from the kids. I had a rather, I wouldn't say a heated discussion, but definitely a spirited conversation a few years ago with someone who was very close to me. And I was saying, hey, look at, I've been to drag queen shows. They are funny as hell. They are so funny. I remember Waylon Clark and Madam, I think that was it. And it was a gay guy and his puppet. And it was a funny show. And I remember Paul Lynn. He used to be the Center Square in the Hollywood Squares. He was gay, and he was funny as hell. And then there was Richard Simmons. It was very entertaining. I have no problem with people being gay. What I do have a problem is when they start going after the kids. And that was what the discussion was all about. I see, these drag queen story time hours, no. You can, if you want to entertain people, it's adult entertainment, so go and entertain the adults. Go to the assisted living complexes and the nursing homes. They would appreciate it. But these little 3 and 4-year-old kids, they still don't know whether Santa Claus is real or not, or the Tooth Fairy. or the Easter Bunny. And now you got some big, fat, hairy drag queen dancing around, throwing dollar bills around, squirming on the floor. I mean, this is not entertainment for children. And the parents who are bringing their kids to this, I mean, this is in my opinion, it's child abuse. And I'm sorry, it made me do this. We don't need indoctrination. We don't need no thought control. No rainbow flags hung in the classroom. Requiring pronouns has to go. Hey, drag queens, leave those kids alone. You're so brainwashed, you're just a brick in the wall. You're so brainwashed, you're just a brick in the wall. Unfortunately, yeah, that's the way it is, folks. Yeah, there's a lot of brainwashing going on out there, and I don't know why. Folks are not open to discussing this. I mean, this whole thing, I'm sorry, but you liberals out there, you're betraying humanity with what you're doing. And you don't even realize it. Well, some of you do realize it, but you're so filled with ego and pride that you can't admit that you were wrong about it. And again, I said it earlier in this broadcast, you were wrong about the Biden laptop being Russian disinformation. You were wrong about Russian collusion. You were wrong about the pandemic. You were wrong about the pokey things. You were wrong about the quid quo pro. You were wrong about the masks, the 6 feet distancing, the isolation, the open borders, the sanctuary cities, the January 6th insurrection. You were wrong about Wuhan and the gain of function. It was from the wet market and the bats. Yeah. You were wrong about defunding the police. You're wrong about so many things, and you can't admit it. You won't admit it because it's going to hurt your pride. And I'm going to have to admit that I was wrong, and I'm going to have to change my ways. Oh, man. And you're so pissed off at Elon Musk because he's uncovering all this. And again, I remind you, Tim Burchett on the House of Congress was talking about the $40 million a week going to the Taliban. Okay, yeah, on the Sean Ryan show, Sean Ryan was interviewing a former CIA agent who was confirming that the Biden-Harris administration wasn't just an administration. It was a terrorist organization. Again, this is a CIA agent coming clean on the Sean Ryan show.
The simplest way I could say it right here, right now, American taxpayer money, your tax dollars, are funding the Taliban right now. And this has been going on since September 2021. On a weekly basis, the United States, the current administration, Mr. Joe Biden, has been sending $40 million, not from his own checking account. It's the U.S. payers, Americans' tax dollars. He's sending them $40 million cash every week that ends up in Afghanistan. And it's a very complex system. The money goes to the Afghanistan International Bank that lacks any authority to convert this dollar to Afghani, to auction it, right? And so this money, AIB gives it to the Taliban-controlled Central Bank of Afghanistan. When I say Central Bank, think Federal Reserves. Mm-hmm. So the money goes there. Now, who is in charge of Afghanistan's central bank right now? Nur Ahmad Agha, sanctioned terrorist, sanctioned by the United States for financing IED attacks against our soldiers that killed American soldiers. He runs the central bank. He gets $40 million every week. Now, once the money reaches the central bank, they hold what is called a bidding and auctioning session, where they invite individuals that are involved with the Hawala system, licensed money dealers. They invite them, and they're bidding. Everyone bids on who wants to buy this dollar and for.
Anyway, that's all that there is on that clip. But I've been screaming from the rooftops for a long, long time about this, a long, long time. And sadly, I just don't understand why the liberals out there are having a problem with all of this information being divulged and disclosed. And you think that Musk is the bad guy. This is just, it's beyond my comprehension. It really is. Anyway, I came across another clip here. We've only got a couple minutes left here for the broadcast. Oh, by the way, I hope you are enjoying the broadcast. I really do. If you think that common sense and a little bit of music and some tongue-in-cheek comedy is, like a spoonful of sugar to help the medicine go down, well then, hey, support the program. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com. Oh, by the way, I almost forgot. We have a patriot out there that is helping us out. And he's got a company out there, and he sells every kind of high-end vacuum cleaner, believe it or not. His website is CompleteVac.com. Check him out. It's the Powell's Vacuum Center, and they're in Connecticut. And they have what Steve has done is he's gone through all of the high-end vacuums and gotten handpicked the best and best made and most reliable models that are out there, and that's what he carries. And everybody, hey, let's face it, with all of the horrible weather that's going on, and the tornadoes and the earthquakes and the fires and all this kind of crap, we all have to clean up now and then. And if you're in the market for a vacuum, before you purchase, get in touch with Steve over there at CompleteVac.com. His phone number is 1-800-392-0052. Again, that's 1-800-392-0052. He'll get you a good deal on the best vacuum that's out there, and you'll be supporting patriots, and that's the whole point. So anyway, let me see. I've got about a minute left. I'm going to play a brief clip from my old friend, rest his soul, Ted Gunderson. Ted, you did a lot of good work, and hopefully I can carry it on for you. Here he is.
We learned that children were being driven, taken out of orphanages, private homes, Boys Town, driven from Omaha, Nebraska to Sioux City, Iowa, a distance of 184 miles away, placed in private jets, flown to Washington, D.C. for sex orgy parties with Congress and senators.
Whoa.
We learned that children 10, 11, 12 years old who were part of the network, Paul Benassi in particular, was used as a decoy in shopping malls, public places, playgrounds, schoolyards, and so forth, to attract other children of the same age over to that area. Then the adults would grab the kids, throw them in a car, and be off with them. Now, what were they doing with these kids when they were flying them to Washington, D.C.? They had a condominium. Larry King, he's not Larry King live television, but a black man who was a rising star in the Republican Party. He had a condominium, paid $5,000 a month. It was on Embassy Row. His salary was $17,000 a year. And these kids were being used for sex orgy parties with congressmen, senators, ambassadors, and what have you.
Yeah, that's one of the big things, folks. If we want to get to the bottom of a lot of this evil, we have to go after the sex traffickers and the child rapists and all of those people that have been involved in that horrible, horrible activity. Anyway, that said, we're going to wrap it up for today. I hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. Again, visit our website, TheWTFReports.com, and do business with our advertisers. We really appreciate it. All right, that's going to do it for today. We'll be back again tomorrow, same time, same place, here on the Red State Talk Radio Network. I'm Dave vonKleist. These are the WTF Reports, and I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you all. Stay safe, and above all, stay free.